Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to the Daily Dose. Man, God is so good. God is so good. It's another great day to be alive. We are right back at it, just enjoying this great week. It is a smooth Wednesday, midweek. I hope everybody's having a great June so far. Welcome back to the Daily Dose, the number one daily morning mastermind for those trying to elevate and grow in personal, spiritual, financial, entrepreneurial lives. Without further ado, we're just going to hop right into it. Matthew chapter 21, verse 18 through 22. Early in the morning, as Jesus was on his way back to the city, he was hungry. Seeing a fig tree by the road, he went up to it, but found nothing on it except leaves. Then he said to it, "May you never bear fruit again." Immediately the tree withered. When the disciples saw this, they were amazed. "How did the fig tree wither so quickly?" they asked. Jesus replied, "Truly I tell you, if you have faith and do not doubt, not only can you do what was done to the fig tree, but also you can say to this mountain, 'Go and throw yourself into the sea,' and it will be done." If you believe, you will receive whatever you ask for in prayer. The main thing we got to remember is to stay prayed up, right? We got to stay praying, constantly praying, right? Everything in life, um, really should involve prayer because when you give it to God, the best thing for you will happen. And that might not be the best thing necessarily that you want, but the best thing for you will happen when you leave everything up to God in prayer. So make sure you just uh asking God for what you need. God already knows what you need, but prayer is more so to open that communication channel up to uh, let God know that you're including Him in your decisions, right? And God's gonna bless you for that. And also want to make sure that we're taking time to think about our past, a little bit about what times in the past have you felt like um you believed in something and you received it. Those type when you remember and you can reflect on those moments in your life and your past, they can help you to give you strength for having bigger faith for bigger things that you're asking for, bigger things that you want to do. So remember all of those little things that you asked for, all of those things that happened in the past that God granted you. You asked them and you believed in it, which is the main thing. If you believe, you'll receive whatever you ask for in prayer. Remember those past things, give yourself the strength and build up your faith to ask for bigger and better things because God wants us to do extraordinarily more than we could think or imagine. But we'll hop right into the business topic for today. We're going to be talking about delegation strategies, how to free your time. The top business owners know that they're not doing the ins and outs of their business after a certain point. They have to delegate these things so they can focus on doing scaling the business, growing the business, um, making sure that the business is running accordingly, not actually running the business, right? Looking for new innovative strategies to grow and create new partnerships. So number one, we got to choose the right task to delegate, right? That's the number one thing we got to do. Choose the right task to delegate. How do we do that? Number one, focus on your strengths. What are you good at? Like, what can you do easily? It doesn't take you a lot of time, and is it is not. It doesn't feel boring to you. Delegate all tasks that fall outside your core strengths. So whether that's paperwork, whether that's making calls, sending out emails, whatever it is that fall outside your core strengths, you want to delegate those things. Find a VA on websites like Fiverr.com or Upwork.com, or maybe hire a friend or a family member and delegate those tasks that fall outside your core strengths because you don't want to waste time doing those because number one, it's going to be a struggle because it's not a strength, and number two, is going to be a time waster, which is the next thing. You want to delegate tasks that could be potentially time consuming, but they're not critical, right? They don't need your authority to get done. You can easily teach somebody how to do them. They can do it, and it will not affect the business at all if they even make a huge mistake, right? So delegate tasks that number one, that's not your strength. Number two, that are time consuming. And another task you can delegate are developmental opportunities for your team. If there's an area or a project that you can delegate to a team member that will help them to become better, to become, yeah, just a better team member. Delegate that task and allow them to explode and allow them to show you exactly what they are capable of. Next, right? After we choose the right task to delegate, we want to identify the right people to delegate to. Number one, you want to match skills and experience, right? You want to make sure that you're matching the skills and experience to be able to find the right person that can do the role that you're asking them to do. Just like you want to outsource tasks that are not your strengths, you want to make sure you're not delegating that task to somebody else who is not their strength as well. Otherwise, you're gonna be wasting time and money, right? So you want to match skills and experience. Next one, you want to make sure that they're motivated and willing to do the work. You don't want to hire somebody that's just going to be doing it, just for the money. You want somebody to actually enjoy what they're doing. You want them to see your vision that you have for the future of your company, and you want to make sure that they are, locked in and ready to go. You don't want to, like I said, you don't want to just hire somebody for them to just collect a check because it's gonna become a point to where they're gonna start cutting corners and they're not gonna be giving it their all. And lastly, you want to make sure that you're hiring somebody with the capacity to do the work that you're trying to do. If you know somebody has a lot going on and it just doesn't seem like they have the time to do it, don't give them that task to do. Otherwise, it's not going to get done. It's not going to get done to the best of their capabilities. And you're just going to be stuck in a loop, wondering why it didn't get done. You're going to have to go do it, going to have to find somebody else to do the task. So make sure you're measuring the capacity of that person to be able to do that. Lastly, you want to set clear expectations and provide resources for anybody that you're delegating tasks to. Clearly define the task. Make sure that they know exactly what you have going on, exactly what you want them to do. Make sure that they know exactly what it is, how much time do they need, or when they need to turn it in, or when is it due, or whatever the case may be. Clearly define the task. Next, you want to provide necessary resources. What type of resources can you provide them to make them successful in the role that you have put them in, or to make them be successful in the task that you have placed them in to do, right? So you want to make sure that you're providing those necessary resources for people to be able to achieve great success. And then lastly, establish clear communication channels, right? So give them a way to be able to reach you if they have questions, whether that's phone call, text, email, whether that's a chat site like Slack or Microsoft Teams. Establish a clear communication channel for you to be able to talk with that person, and they can, quickly ask questions if they need it, and you can also quickly ask questions when you need it. All right. So that's going to be some delegation strategies for you, making sure that we are using our time wisely, making sure that we're doing the best that we can with our business, making sure that we are doing the best that we possibly can uh, in our lives, right? To make sure that we are using our time the best, because as CEOs, like I said, we want to get out of doing everything and we want to get into growing our businesses and being the best business owners that we possibly can to give other people opportunities. Self-development. Self-development. Each day we're trying to grow, be the best people that we can possible. And we're going to be talking about stepping outside your comfort zone, right? How do we step outside our comfort zone? Is everybody talks about that, like you got to get outside your comfort zone. That's the only way to grow. That's the only way to get better, right? But how do we really practically do that? Number one, identify your fears. How, like, what are you afraid of, um, as it pertains to what makes you uncomfortable? Why does something make you uncomfortable, right? Like, and then that's when you start to uncover your fears. Okay, so identify those first. That's number one. It's like, okay, I'm uncomfortable going up to people at a networking event? Why am I uncomfortable doing that? Right, as an example, right? And then so that's would be an example of how to identify your fears. Whatever is your comfort zones, going to the gym, like what are your fears? Are you afraid of, um, pushing yourself to the limit? You know what I'm saying? Are you afraid of the soreness that's gonna come after that? What is your comfort zone? What is stepping out of your comfort zone look like? And why does that make you uncomfortable? So number one, identify your fears. Number two, start small. Go in small increments when you're getting out of your comfort zone. Don't try to make a big leap right outside your comfort zone unless you're built for that. But most people are not. So you want to take baby steps as you're stepping and peeking outside of your comfort zone and making sure that you are um, like I said, taking the necessary steps to become the better version of yourself. It's not about, how far, how fast you can go. It's more so about the journey that you're taking. Set goals, right? We want to set goals for our life. Set goals for getting out of our comfort zone, right? So what it is, like, if it, for example, the networking event, you need to set a goal to go to networking events, talk to maybe three people that you never knew, start the conversation, right? Set those goals for yourself for whatever that uncomfortableness is. Set goals for yourself to get out of there. Take those baby steps and start to move and start to make things happen. Next, you want to visualize success. Visualize yourself getting outside your comfort zone and doing great at it. Right. The other day we were talking about expect greatness from yourself. You want to visualize yourself being successful, stepping outside of your comfort zone. It is so important for us to understand that visualization is the key, one of the keys to life. We have to see it in our mind, we have to believe it in our hearts, and then we will be able to embody that, whatever it is that we're trying to do. Next, we have to embrace discomfort. We have to embrace discomfort, right? Without knowing that we're going to be stepping outside of our comfort zone, knowing that it's going to be uncomfortable, we have to embrace the discomfort that's going to come along with it, right? We have to welcome that into our lives because if not, then we're just going to be, there's going to be a lot of friction. And then you're going to just quickly go back into your comfort zone if you're not welcoming the discomfort. You got to get comfortable being uncomfortable, basically. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's really the true reality. We have to embrace discomfort when we're trying to step outside of our comfort zone because that's exactly what's happening. We're being discomforted, and we need to be able to manage that so that after we get our reps in, this part of our lives won't be as uncomfortable anymore. And then we just want to focus on growth, right? Focus on growing every single day. Focus on getting better, right? Focus on how you can maintain your level of comfortability as you grow and find new things as you step outside your comfort zone and different things, right? And then we want to celebrate the journey. Celebrate the journey. Like after you have stepped outside your comfort zone in one area, see if you can, just make sure that you are doing the necessary steps that you need to do to ensure that you are making yourself aware, right? Give yourself an applaud for stepping out of your comfort zone because that's not something that everybody's trying to do. A lot of people, I would say, just off the top of my head, about 70% of people in the world probably just live within their comfort zone all their life, right? They never get outside their comfort zone. They never try to challenge themselves to experience something new. And therefore, they don't really fully live out the purpose that we have set in our lives because the God's purpose does not rest in our comfort zone. We have to go out and do things to be uncomfortable. If you look at all the historic people in the Bible, everybody who got a story, they had to step outside their comfort zone to be able to accomplish the purpose that they were set on this earth to do. And so do we. Nothing changes. So we have to make sure that we're growing every day. We are doing the things that we need to do to get outside of our comfort zone so that we can become the best person possible. that'll wrap it up for today. Hope y'all was extremely blessed by this, and we'll